Welcome back, Geordies. It's Adam from Two for Joy here to give you my post-match reaction to the 10 men of Newcastle destroying the mighty Manchester United at St James's Park last night, with Starboy Will Asula being the showstopper. But I want to start off by talking about Peter Banks and obviously the refereeing decisions that were made last night. I'm really focusing on Manchester United and their so-called fantastic form and being top of the form table in their last 7 games. But there's a real big turning point, obviously, when Jacob Ramsey receives the second yellow card. And I don't know, I've seen Alice report on Man United over the past few weeks, and I've watched a bit of Mark Goldbridge from United Stand. And the biggest thing that stands out to me is United fans will glorify it online and say how fantastic they've been, but they haven't. They haven't been great. And the last 5 games, they got a 1-1 draw with West Ham. They scraped a 1-0 win over Everton with a lucky counter-attack. And this one's key. This next part is key. Red cards. Spurs, Christian Romero sent off 29 minutes in their game against Spurs, which they won 2-0, but they had an hour playing against 10 men. Crystal Palace, Lacroix sent off 56 minutes in for denying a goal-scoring opportunity, which you'll have seen in my whistleblower video. 40 minutes against 10 men. And then obviously Jacob Ramsey last night, the most controversial decision at 45 minutes plus 1, receiving a second yellow card for simulation. And the point about this is Peter Banks points for a goal kick. He's already given a goal kick. He didn't believe that it was a simulated dive. His initial reaction was not that Jacob Ramsey had tried to dive. And then he's crowded by 6 Man United players. And the key to this, I always find the key to this, that fucking pisses me off. Bruno Fernandes is the catalyst to all of these decisions with all of the referees. And there's no appeal for a penalty from Newcastle. There's no suggestion that it's a dive from the lino. He doesn't wave his flag. And there's no consultation, no VAR. It's the players on the pitch that have influenced the referee into making his decision. And he's so weak-willed to pull out a second yellow card and send Jacob Ramsey off. And ironically, the only team this season within a 5-game period to have 3 players sent off against them, Manchester United. And they've scraped wins through these last 7 games under Michael Carrick. They haven't really had a fully convincing display. And obviously they've got Cunha, Sesko and Buemo, who've hit a run of form, and obviously Bruno Fernandes being played back in his best position. But they looked terrible last night. Even against the 10 men of Newcastle, they looked awful. And too many times this season, we've been hard done by poor refereeing decisions on the pitch, which have massively influenced the games we've played in. And I just think let me know in the comments what you think about Man United having 3 games out of 5 with 45 minutes plus playing against 10 men. It seems dubious at best. But then moving on to Newcastle's performance last night, absolutely fantastic. The desire last night was unrivaled to what I've seen this season. And I really felt it started from that midfield. Joel Linton and Sandro Tonali as that midfield 2 were absolutely phenomenal last night. Absolutely phenomenal. And I've seen a lot of Man United fans last night posting comments that they need to sign Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. He's the fix for their midfield. Get rid of Casemiro and replace him with Sandro Tonali. He was sensational last night, and so was Joel Linton. Having just come back from injury, it shows how much we miss our midfield destroyer. And I thought he was fantastic in every part of his game last night. Maybe not so his shooting, but every part of Joel Linton's game that he excels in, he was fantastic last night. And then from the front, Anthony Gordon, and I'll be honest, Anthony Gordon's not a number 9, but I tell you what, last night he was fantastic. His press from the front attitude, his movement, the way he pulled out wide left or wide right to offer an option. He stretched that back line last night, and he did his best work once again coming in off the left to win the penalty. And 9 in 9 scored penalties for Anthony Gordon this season. You've got to give him credit. Last night I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. And it solidified through the spine of this team when Anthony Gordon, Joel Linton, Sandro Tonali, Trippier and Byrne were leaders last night. Dan Byrne back to being the Goliath of a centre-back that he is. And Kieran Trippier with the experience and the know-how to stop Cunha dead in his tracks every time. And the last-minute tackle from Kieran Trippier on Cunha to put the ball out for what I thought was a corner and ended up being a goal kick. He was sensational last night. Absolutely sensational. And the guy I missed in my quick rundown of our post-match last night, Aaron Ramsdale. And honestly, I'm so pleased for him. The only thing that could have made last night better for Aaron Ramsdale would have been a clean sheet. And I was disappointed when we obviously had the extra time added on so that Man United could get a goal by Casemiro in the 9th minute of first time injury time. Absolutely ridiculous. Where do those 9 minutes come from? But Ramsdale was sensational last night. The top bin save he made from Joshua Zirkzee was absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope that Eddie will stick by him in this next match against Man City in the FA Cup. He's earned that right to stay in goal. And I really felt that when we went down to 10 men, Ramsdale offered us the option at the back to be able to play out and carry on playing out and have a resource to be able to go back to when we were pressed. But in that second half, even down to 10 men, it looked like we had the extra man. Man United were appalling, below par. And like I say, if you go and listen to Manchester United YouTubers, they'll tell you the honest opinion is they haven't played well over the last 5-6 games. This has been coming. And they just needed to come up against a team with a bit of resilience who could stick it out. And last night we were that team. And then obviously on to Willa Sula, the wild card Willa Sula. And the goal that Willa Sula scored is special. It is something special. It's something we'll remember. And it raised the roof at St James's Park. I couldn't be more pleased for this kid. I think he's got real potential. And I know a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this myself, a lot of times we criticise Willa Sula for not having kicked on in the time we've had him. But I do feel that Willa Sula, this summer, I feel like Willa Sula needs a loan. If we're not going to give him regular minutes, I don't think we should sell him. I think if we sell him, we'll look back in 2 years from now, we'll look back and say, we made the wrong move. Because I do believe he could kick on and become something special. He's got the ability. He's just such a raw player. He's such a rough diamond. And he needs to be almost a step down from where we are. Somewhere in around a Wolves, a Burnley, a Frankfurt, a Stuttgart, somewhere like that, to play regular minutes and be in and around it and involved every week and really hone those skills in order to be able to come back to us as a polished product. And I believe he can do it. I genuinely believe he's got the work rate and the desire to go on and do that. But I want to kind of touch on also Eddie Howe, because he's had a lot of criticism, not only from the Newcastle fan base divided, but from myself. And I felt like Eddie Howe really let us down in the last game against Everton with his playing Joel Linton out on left wing, Nick Voltemada in centre midfield, Gordon as a number 9. And we were just not cohesive at all against Everton, and we really should be beating that Everton side. And I felt like we gave it up for nothing. But last night, I felt like he got everything right. The movement, the tactical setup against Man United. I genuinely thought Man United would hold a lot more possession against us, and they didn't. And that's testament to Joel Linton and Tonali in the middle, just breaking it up and dominating that midfield. And Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes couldn't operate against it. And in that second half, the switch to take Harvey Barnes off and put Joe Willock on and go into this 4-4-1 shape really gave us a foothold at the start of that second half. I fully expected Man United to come out, control possession, push on, put us under pressure for the first 10-15 minutes, but they didn't. We were the team that applied the pressure. And the nice thing was, it was like Eddie Howe had gone, I believe in my 10 men to be better than your 11 men. And we're going to stick it to you. And we're going to carry on. And we're going to press. And we're going to make you work for this. And Man United didn't know what to do with it. I think half-time they went in 1-1 with us being down to 10 men. They thought cigars are out, kick back, slippers on. We'll score at some point. We'll finish these off. And they couldn't. They just couldn't do it. And I felt like the tactical adjustment from Eddie Howe was exactly what we expect from the whole intensity is our identity, and back to a similar style of what we saw years ago from Eddie when he first came in, and our first push. And then basically what this means for us going forward, and to touch on our next 5 games. So our next 5 games: FA Cup versus Manchester City, Champions League, Barcelona at home, Chelsea away, back to Barcelona away for the second Champions League, and then into the big one, which I think is a season definer. Newcastle versus Sunderland, the derby at home, and I feel that game has to be won. We have to assert dominance in that game. And I am not fearful for Newcastle being up for it against Man City this weekend. I'm not fearful for Newcastle being up for it against Barcelona. My worry is the away to Chelsea and the return leg to Barcelona. Obviously, if we take something in there, I think we might be able to get something out of it. They've not been in the greatest run of form. And then obviously the derby, and it's the opportunity to set the record straight from the first, what I call the first leg. It is the opportunity to set the record straight, and I feel like we really have to punish Sunderland coming to St James's Park and put a marker down to show you might have come up, but you're not good enough. You're not the biggest club in the northeast. You know you can't. You're not a patch on us, and we need to really assert that dominance and show them who we are and what we're about. But let me know in the comments. Basically, do you think this is a turning point? Do you think having Joel Linton back in that midfield with Sandro Tonali, Jacob Ramsey kicking on, Anthony Gordon finding a bit of form, do you think we can get something out of these next 5 games? And it's been a controversial topic over the last probably 2 weeks. Where do you think Nick Voltemade fits in? Do you think he should be playing, or do you think he should be benched? On that performance last night, I'd say there's nothing to suggest from that performance that he should come in as a starter in the Man City game. And I feel there might be, and I don't know anything, but I feel there might be a little bit of a narrative around how much money we've spent on him, and a suggestion from the higher-ups to Eddie that regardless of whether he fits the system or not, he needs to play due to the volume of money we've spent on him. We've seen it before with other clubs. So let me know in the comments, guys. Like and subscribe. On the road to 1,000. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.